welcome to another video. It's mid-September and today, hello sweeties, I'm going to be harvesting our winter potatoes hopefully. So I've got some here in our bottom vegetable plot to harvest, and I've also got some at the top. And the potatoes up at the top plot were all home saved seed. So they were potatoes that we grew last year from shop bought seed, and then I've saved the potatoes and we used those as our own seed for this year just to see what it was like. It's been a bit of a crazy year weather wise. So we've had the heat waves that we've never ever had for a heck of a long time here in England. So I'm curious as to how the potatoes are going to turn out, because they didn't get as much water as they normally would in our climate anyway. So we're going to concentrate on the bottom area today. So these were all shop bought seed potatoes. It's been interesting to see how they've grown at different speeds and different colours, different leaves, the foliages all look different, etc. So it'll be interesting to see what results we're going to get. So it's just me at the moment. I'm not sure the horses are going to give me much help. We'll see how we get on and what our winter harvest is going to look like. These are the potatoes on the other side of this gate, but for now I'm going to chop these nettles down because they're a bit of a pain. I keep stinging myself on them, and then we shall get busy harvesting all the different potatoes. You can see some foliage is still green, some has already died back, and some is completely dead. Some's on its way. It'll be interesting to see what the different results are, but this is one of the only days that I can get this done with working full time. So let's see what we end up with. We've got lots of different varieties here, and they were hilled up to start off with, and then to be honest didn't hill them up as much as I should have done. So when you plant your potatoes, while the foliage is coming through, you should add extra ground on top so that it's so that you don't end up like this with some exposed, you see those exposed potatoes, and then they grow into the hills that you mount them up with. But that's okay, we'll see what we're working with. There's a lot to be done. I'm going to start by just clearing the foliage. Any potatoes that come up, I'm just going to leave them where they are. A lot of these have been exposed to sunlight, which isn't ideal, but hopefully we've still got quite a few to get. And also, one problem that we have down here are pests that we get are rodents, and this is an example of what they do. So they have a good chomp on some of the potatoes. We actually lost a lot of potatoes, seed potatoes last year to rodents, but hopefully it seems as though we've got quite a few results this year, even if we've had to share some of them. But I'm expecting the potatoes themselves to be smaller because of the lack of water that we've had, really. Another thing that we also suffer from here is potato scab, which you can see it gets like a crusty kind of layer on the top. They're still okay to use, they don't look particularly nice, but yeah, they're still okay to use and they won't store. So unfortunately we're already starting off quite a few damaged ones. They're all going to go in the compost. I don't worry about putting damaged potatoes in the compost because I'll take potatoes wherever I can get them. So if you want to get some volunteer potatoes in the compost for next year, I'm fine with that too. So I'm just going to get harvesting. All the good ones I'll put to one side where they came out of the ground, and any that are no good I'll just toss on the compost, whether they're too small like that or nibbled. So I best get busy because there is a lot to do. I've never met a gardener yet who doesn't love digging for potatoes. Some of these absolutely awesome, and it's just like digging for treasure every year. I love it. I'm just going to clear the top layer first, and then any that I've got left underneath I'm going to come through with the fork and gently clear, but not just yet. We'll get everything that we can see. Keep saying we, because you guys are doing this with me. Dig for treasure together. So even some that have got a little bit of green on like that, I mean there's a hole in that one, so it's a bit of a bad example, but where they have been exposed just a little bit, I'll still use those. I'll just cut the green off. Oh. Wow. Aren't you a funny shape? This is what I've got so far from just that bit there. So some of them are fantastic, some of them are absolutely tiny, and I'm just throwing them straight onto the compost heap there, which I'll sort out afterwards once it's all full. Not thrilled with what we're getting, but I am getting quite a few. It's just the size isn't great, but I'm digging it over as we go along. But I have to be honest with you, I'm not getting anywhere fast, so I might have to spread it out over a couple of days. We'll see. There's a lot to work through, so there's a lot of little potatoes that are just really no good, and so I want to make sure that I get as many of those out of the ground as I can. As I say, I'm not bothered about volunteer potatoes, but ideally not where I'm going to be growing. I think I'm going to grow garlic in here soon, so I'm going to get these planted. It's mid-September, the garlic will be going in shortly, so I need all of these out and the ground totally cleared, adjusted if I want to put any extra nutrients in or anything like that. But I don't want potatoes coming up where the garlics are and disturbing those. So although I'm happy with volunteer ones in the compost, I don't really want them where they're growing now. But there are so many tiny little pathetic ones that I think we might end up getting some next year. So let me show you what we've got, what I mean. So just to give you some context, in my hand, look at the size of these. So all of these ones I'm just going to try and get out by hand and just pop them on the compost. And you can see the residue of where the mouse or the rat, whatever it is, has been chewing. But we do have some good sized ones, so it's just need to be patient working through them, because at the end of the day all of this is for the winter, so we'll get there. One of the other reasons I'm getting these now is because we've been getting some low temperatures on a night, not down to freezing or anything, but I won't be surprised if it's a first frost very soon, and I want to get these in before they show any signs of blight or anything like that. With the foliage being pretty much dead on all of them, it's the right time to be getting them in. Some of them at the top we'll have a look at as we get there. They're probably a little bit further, maybe it's another week or so, but we'll see. Might take me a week to harvest all of these the rate I'm going. Another day, as you can tell, another day, another outfit. I'm stepping over potatoes. I've got onto the next variety. Let me show you. Oh, we've moved into a kind of to the column parties where the two different colours. I think that's Hardy Red, but I'll have to check. I can't remember off the top of my head. And I'm digging it over as we're going along, but it is taking a lot more effort and strength than I seem to have. So I'm going to keep on going. It's going to be a few days, I think, this, but for you guys it'll probably be a 15-minute video for three or 4 days worth of work for me. I'm pleased with what we're getting so far, but we are getting lots of these tiny piddly little things. So next year I may switch to doing all the potatoes up at the top in the raised beds, because they seem to do really well in there, and the carrots seem to do really well down here, but they get carrot fly up there. So we'll see what plans out for next year. But as I say, I think garlic's going to go in here this winter or this autumn, so I need to get it cleared and I need to get these in storage. So all we'll do, I've left those out on the pathway overnight. 24 hours I'll leave them out for, just so they can dry off a bit, and then I can just knock any dried dirt off. I won't be washing them, and the ones that are good enough for storage, or the best of them, I'll literally just keep in a cool dark place, which will be our stores, because it's nice and cool in there now, and we'll just keep them until we're ready to use them. So I'm going to keep going, and then I'm going to take the dog out for a walk and come back again tomorrow. Well, this is where we're up to. So all of the good sized ones have gone in the barrow. Grace has come to help me on yet another day. And these tiny little ones that are really tiny or green, we're just going to put those on the compost at the minute. But this is where we've got to. It's a nice day for working in it today, but there's some ones that are really really difficult to work with. So it's a 2-person job now, so I'm so pleased I've got some help. Let's see how we get on. Well, that's it. We've got 1.5 barrows full. We're just transferring them so it's easier to push them. I'm really pleased. We've got some absolutely giant ones, which this is, so all different variety of colours and sizes. Some really small ones that we ended up just putting in the barrows, and we'll just separate those. We're going to go and pop them up in the storeroom now because we need these barrows back, because we need to give the horses a bit more food. Rodney, what are you doing? But that's it. This is the whole of this row, all of this full of potatoes, and that's our winter harvest. I do have another lot up at the top plot, which I mentioned earlier on in the video, which was a few days ago now, and they were all saved from our own potatoes last year, so I shall see how they get on in a different video. Not doing that today. Anyway, thanks for watching. Just a quick one on potatoes. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.